January 11th, and the all-important CPI announcement. I have all the details and exactly what you need to know right here in the video. Let's get right into it. I know in this video, I do want to discuss January 11th and the very important CPI announcement, which is released once per month, and I do want to talk about what we can expect as well as what it means for all of us right here in this community, as well as the United States economy as a whole. This is a very important announcement, and again, I want to break down all the details for you here in this video. Let's get into it and talk through all the details. Really fast before we do, thanks for joining me. If you have not done so yet, make sure to do yourself a huge favor. Hit that subscribe button right down below the video, as it is totally free to do so, and I'm here for you right by your side every single day, watching the headlines and all the latest details hitting the wire, doing all the research and breaking it all down into these short videos so you can stay posted on what is actually going on right now, as things are changing very rapidly, and of course, always advocating on your behalf as well. We've got to stick together right now here in this community. It's a very busy time right now, and we all know what is coming in November of this year, just a matter of months away. Even though it sounds like a very long time from now, it is going to go very fast, and again, there's going to be a lot of big announcements and a lot of big promises made between now and then from a variety of people, as we all know. Either way, I'm here for you in any way that I possibly can be. Again, subscribe down below if you haven't done so yet, and let's get into it and talk about January 11th, what this means with the CPI data release. Why do we care? What does this mean for us? And why do we need to pay attention to this type of report? All right, so remember this much as well. I've talked about the CPI many times before in other videos, but this is the Consumer Price Index, or otherwise known as the inflation data. Now, this comes out once per month, generally right around the middle of the month every single month, and it is in regards to the inflation data for the previous month. So this report is actually December's inflation data, obviously from last year, okay? So it's going to give us an idea of what is going on with inflation. Is it still going up? Is it coming down as they continue to try to tell us that it is? Is it holding steady? What is going on here? And is this inflation still a problem as of now? Now, here's the thing. I think we all probably recognize, yeah, inflation is still very much a problem. Now, here's the problem with this whole situation. Even though prices have gone up significantly over the last couple years, in fact, when inflation started to kick off was in early 2021. So what is that? Nearly 3 years ago now? This inflation has gone up significantly. Now, here's the problem. Think of it this way. The prices that we were paying on goods and services back in, call it, late 2020, early 2021, were not nearly what we're paying today, right? Well, many of us are thinking, hey, it sure would be nice if those prices came back down to the levels that they were at, call it, 3 years ago. Unfortunately, it's not happening, okay? It is not going to happen. Where the prices are today, they are pretty much going to stay at that. Prices are not going to go back down to where they were, call it 3 years ago. It's just not going to happen. That's not how it works, okay? And again, they continue to tell us, don't worry, everybody, inflation is going down. No, wrong. Inflation is not going down, but rather it is not rising as rapidly as it was over the last couple years, giving the illusion that prices are going down. No, prices are not going down. Inflation is not going down. It is not rising as rapidly as it was. Do you see the difference? There's a huge difference, okay? Well, that's what I've been trying to say for the last, year and a half now. I've been saying this. It's not actually going down. It's just not rising as rapidly, giving the illusion of going down, right? It's all smoke and mirrors. You've got to look through all of it. Either way, we need to continue watching this report very closely, because here's the situation. Over the last several months here, they continue to bring us those reports that show inflation has gone down, right? The initial CPI data is looking lower, right? Remember, in June of, what was the year? 2022? Yeah, June of 2022, inflation hit 9.1%. That was the peak that we saw, right? That's huge. That's crazy high. Well, relative to where we are today, around the mid 3% range, it's looking pretty good. Like, wow, we've made some major progress, right? Well, okay, fine. You can maybe look at it that way, but remember this much as well. The benchmark of the Federal Reserve is generally around 2 to 2.5%. Well, we're still sitting significantly above that. If you look at it on a percentage basis, we're looking way higher than what they really want inflation to be. They still want it to come down to that 2 to 2.5% range, okay? We're still at least a point above that right now, okay? So that's just kind of what we're looking at as of now. But My point is, the reason we want to continue watching this very closely is because this is a key factor based on what the Federal Reserve is going to do later on this month when they get together for their FOMC meeting, which they have once every 6 months, which, by the way, it is the very end of this month. They'll be wrapping up that meeting, and that is also going to predicate, as in the CPI data release, is also going to predicate what the Federal Reserve does with their interest rate policy, as in, do they keep raising interest rates, making all of us pay more for money that we're borrowing on credit cards or loans or things like this? Or are they maybe going to pause like they have done for the last few months now? Or are they going to be cutting interest rates, which would also make our lives a little bit easier, making that money that we're borrowing maybe a little teeny tiny bit cheaper to borrow that money, right? Now, let me point out a quick example here. Are you floating any balances on credit cards right now? If you are, you're paying a ton of interest on that right now, right? 22+% on most credit cards right now is the average interest rate. That's crazy high. That is very, very high. 22%? I mean, just imagine that. Just imagine being on the receiving end of that. Would you like to get a 22% return on your money? Let's just think of it this way. Let's just say that you have $1,000 sitting in a bank account. Would you like a 22% interest rate on that? That'd be awesome, right? That'd be really, really nice. You probably would not want to touch that money ever as long as you're getting a 22% interest rate. Well, guess what? That's what banks are doing. Banks are doing exactly that. They're getting 22% back on their money for all of us that are floating balances on credit cards. Not sure if you are, but I am, okay? I'm guessing most people are because the statistics show most people are floating balances or holding balances on credit cards. The average is about $7,000. It's a lot, okay? It's a lot of money, and paying that much interest is going to take a long time to pay that off. So anyway, long story short, the inflation data also gives us a little bit of a skewed look at what the economy is doing. Now, why do I say a skewed look? Because I'm a crazy fool? Well, yep, that too. But again, is very important to look at because it gives us a little bit of a glimpse into what's going on with inflation, as well as, what is supply and demand doing as far as how much are people spending out there, as far as is there still demand for products and services. If people are not demanding products and services through buying them, then inflation should relatively come down, because if money's not being spent, then guess what? It's just not being spent, and therefore the supply and demand equation is not causing prices to continue moving higher. But remember, this report is from December. Do you think there was demand for goods and services in December? Let's just go out on a limb here and say, let me think what was going on in December, right? Were we maybe all buying a few things for maybe ourselves or friends or family members or loved ones or spouses, stuff like that? We were probably buying a couple things. Doesn't matter if you were spending $5 or $10 or $100 or $5,000. We were all probably buying a couple things because there were a lot of holidays in December, right? Therefore, demand is higher, and people probably bidding prices up on things, therefore called inflation, right? Make sense? So anyway, long story short, this is a key report that I want to bring to your attention here. This will be coming out bright and early, 8:30 a.m. East Coast time on the 11th. And I want to bring this to your attention. I will watch it very closely to see what happens here, but this will also give us a better glimpse into what the Federal Reserve will likely be doing later on this month, which interest rates. And again, this is all pegged to the economy, which again, I know some of you here in the community feel like, I don't care about the economy. Stop talking about the economy. I get it, but you know what? If you want more money, if you want a stimulus check, if you want anything like that to happen, you better pray that the economy goes down the tubes, okay? I know it'd seem to be weird to be like praying like, please, economy, go down the tubes. That'd be kind of a funny, ask, but my point is, that's all it's going to take, okay? When the economy crashes and burns, when it goes out like a ball, like a flaming ball out of the sky, the economy, that's when money is printed up. That's when the Federal Reserve prints hundreds of billions or trillions of dollars. That's when Congress appropriates hundreds of billions or trillions of dollars, and they send it out in the form of stimulus checks, advanced unemployment benefits, loans to businesses, things like this. All kinds of money like that goes out, like what we saw in 2020, early 2021, things like this. That is what happens. Anyway, Important report coming out. CPI, Consumer Price Index, inflation data for the month of December. And of course, I'll bring you that information as we get it bright and early on January 11th. So other than that, hope you're having a nice day so far. Stay warm out there. We're like in the depths of winter right now. You know what I mean? It is like the worst time, January. It's kind of a fun time, but at the same time, I'm not really a huge fan because it's just like, it's super cold. Like, what are you supposed to do, right? I don't know. Anyway, not so much for me. So I hope you're having a nice day so far. Again, hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't done so yet. Share the video with your friends on my social media. Hit the like button down below as well. That's totally free. Also, go back and check out any of the other thousands of videos here on the channel, including all of those that I have linked down below in the description. Some great content there as well. Otherwise, enjoy your day. Take care. Have a good one, and catch you again later.